Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. How are you doing today? Hope you are having a sunny day. Ready for some drama from Ask a Lawyer? Let's go to the first one, about OP's mother, who demands OP takes her golden child brother in to live with her. Listen to the story, guys, to find out all the details, and of course to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 26 female, have a brother, 31 male, Kevin. Kevin was the golden child of the family. My parents gave him every opportunity to succeed in life: money, sports camps, cars, etc. I, however, was left to my own devices and always secretly thought my parents didn't like having me around, which was confirmed about a year ago when my aunt, mom's sister, got day drunk and confessed my dad was disappointed I wasn't another boy, and they actually tried to pawn me off on their family members after I was born. This was apparently a big family secret I wasn't supposed to know. More on that later. Despite this, Kevin and I always had a good relationship. He's really smart and fun to be around, but his major flaw is that he's very lazy. He is constantly between jobs and never really puts in any effort. I once tried to get him a job at my company, and he did great at first, until he stopped showing up. When I brought it up to my parents, they just shrug it off and say he hasn't found himself yet. He started his own contracting company and was doing okay for a while, but once again is out of money because he only takes jobs when he wants to and overspends. He currently lives with his BFF and his BFF's girlfriend, but now they want him to move out because she's pregnant and they need the extra room. Meanwhile, I've been busting my butt and recently got a job promotion and bought my first home. My mom heard about Kevin's situation and called me up the other day to ask. It was more like a command, me to take Kevin in. I told her no. I've barely had time to myself in my new place. Plus, I work a ton, and to be honest, I don't really trust Kevin to keep his end of the housework or pay his fair share. My mom got angry about this. Note: I've distanced myself a bit since the conversation with my aunt. They never check on me and didn't even congratulate me on my job or house. She just went right into demanding I let my brother move in. After she told me I was ungrateful and a bad sister, I lost it. I've always supported Kevin and tried to help him. I basically blew up and told her I resent being the unwanted child they only talk to when they need me to help Kevin. This started a huge fight in our family. My mom is pissed at my aunt, who is on my side. Other family members have been blowing up my phone yelling at me for making my mom upset. And Kevin is mad because he thinks I resent him, which is what I'm sure my mom said. I don't resent him. I do think he needs to grow up. I've blocked most of my family except Kevin, who is ghosting me right now, and my aunt. Everyone thinks I'm a huge a-hole for starting World War III in my family, and Kevin thinks I'm jealous and selfish since I won't let him move in. Am I the a-hole? It's not OP's fault. OP is the scapegoat of the family, and they're taking the easy way out. They just don't want to deal with the crap storm that OP's brother brings with him. Also, I don't understand how OP can be close to her brother, cause he's an entitled jerk if he's mad at OP in this case. He's OP's older brother. He should have OP's back. He shouldn't be mad because OP is jealous or selfish of him. Because he has so much going for him, right? What kind of person is he that he's okay with the family fight that has started because he's so broke that he can't even find a place to live on his own? He's 31. OP should tell him to cut the damn cord and grow up. And now let's see if the community agrees with me. AZ Scorpio 19 says, "Not the a-hole. You worked hard for what you have. If your parents are so worried about him, he should live with them. You're his sister, not his mother." SRA 19 says, "Not the a-hole. That your mother is turning your family against you is exhibit A that you were right to stand up for yourself. She is trying to manipulate you to get what she wants. It is not a healthy or loving way to treat her daughter. You are not obligated to let your brother move in. If your mother is that worried about where he'll go, she can let him move in with her." Deleted user says, 100% not the a-hole. Kevin needs a reality check. Your parents are bad parents, and fixing their problems is not your responsibility. Your extended family blame you because now they have to deal with fallout when they were audience members for years beforehand. If Kevin is willing to reopen communication with you and really hear your end of things, then all is not lost. My sister and I were under 5 when our parents divorced. I was 4 at the time, and she was 1. 2 years later, our mom was in a horrific car accident that changed our lives forever. My father was already married again at the time, and they made the decision, him and his wife, to have her take over and raise us as her own children together. even though my mom did nothing wrong and was technically still alive, just critically ill. My mom was left permanently disabled by her injuries, and she was in the hospital for almost a year, and spent a further 3-ish years in rehabilitation, learning how to function again. During all this, my sister and I were not allowed to see or speak to our mom, and in this time, my sister decided that my father's wife was her real mother, and that mom was just Dad's ex-wife, which was encouraged by him and his wife. Mom was able to get to a place where she could ask the court for time with us. It started out supervised because of her disability and the time it had been since we had seen her. But the damage was done with my sister and her. My sister did not want to spend time with her, did not want to call her mom. She would yell at me for hugging mom or calling her mom and would say I was hurting our mom. It crushed mom. It crushed her in a way I still remember at that young age. It also made me very angry at my father and his wife. The custody situation was fought back against by my father and his wife, who said mom's place in our lives interrupted our stability and family dynamic. We had to speak to many therapists and a gall of courts. I was spoken to by a social worker and the judge on the case. In the end, it was decided that it was in my best interest to see my mom and have a relationship with her, but that it was in my sister's best interest not to, and to have things go back to the way they were. No contact with mom, for her. Mom was heartbroken, and my father was furious that mom would get access to me. Today I am 18, in my senior year of high school, and I now live with my mom and have cut off my father and his wife. I still talk to my sister, but our relationship is very strained. We no longer feel like sisters. We almost feel like step-siblings, because we do not claim the same parents anymore. That includes my father. She has talked about graduation and how she wants to be there, but she doesn't want to go with mom. She wants her parents there. I do not want them there. I do not want them in my life at all. She said she can't come otherwise. I told her I would not invite her parents just to have her there. I could hear her cry after I said it, and she was mad at me for picking mom over my real family. I feel bad. Despite how messed up this all is, I still love my sister, even though I'm not sure we can ever be close again. I don't want to hurt her. Am I the a-hole? Well, it's OP's graduation, and she can invite who she wants. That's absolutely horrible the way OP's stepmom and dad prevented OP from seeing her mom. They easily manipulated and controlled OP and her sister, and tried to coerce them into cutting her off. OP was right to cut them off. And now let's hear the community's opinion. 11th Hour 11 says, "That is just such a crappy situation. If your mom had left you by choice, I could see your sister's side, but it was an accident. Not the a-hole, but do try to cut your sister some slack and try to maintain a relationship with her since she is only 15 and might see things differently and change her mind once she matures a bit. However, cutting out your father and his wife is completely your choice and justified. If they didn't try to just pretend like your mom died, none of this would have happened, and you could still have a functioning family. I'm just wondering how happy they would feel if your mom hadn't recovered." OP says, "They were hoping she wouldn't. I know that because my uncle, my father's only sibling, stopped talking to him over everything that went down with my mom. We talked about it, and I told him he needed to tell me the whole story about it. That's when I learned that my father and his wife had talked about how much better it would be if she never recovered, or just died. They'd never have to worry about an attachment forming then. They'd never have to give her, my father's wife, competition. My uncle said he was disgusted by that, and the way they were teaching my sister to see mom as our father's ex-wife, and his wife as her real mother. I don't know if my sister can ever see things differently. She has her loyalty to the woman she sees as her real mom, while mom, to her, is just an ex-wife, and is not family or anything to her in any way. I can't take that out on her, but I think that might always be something between us that makes things different." I've been divorced from my ex-husband for 6 years now and have full custody of my 2 boys, 9 and 6 years old. I wouldn't say the divorce ended on good terms, but I'd say that we managed to keep it civil in front of our boys. After the divorce, ex-husband moved into a new neighborhood better than the one we were in, then found us a house in a nearby family-friendly neighborhood. It was more expensive than our original rent, to be honest, but the arrangement was that I'll pay half and he'll pay half. After he got married, he told me that paying his share most months would be difficult, which turned into all months, which turned into me paying the rent all on my own. This put a lot of stress on money for me, and I barely saved any money during the month, if at all. Ex got married a couple years ago, and since then he has also been cutting the money he sends to the boys by half. I talked to him many times that if he is not planning to send the same amount that he usually does, to just let me know, so I can make arrangements and sort my financials accordingly. However, lately he has been promising my sons a new room for each boy, then going back on his words, telling them that your mom doesn't think it's a proper time to get the room now, or promising them a trip during their summer break, only to tell them your mom didn't approve. When I confronted him about it, he told me that he is embarrassed to tell them that he doesn't have the money to do so because, for the third time this year, his wife wants to redecorate their house. All this, plus my boys treating me differently or not being as happy to be around me as usual, made me snap on him the last time he called me, telling him that if he didn't spend all his money on his wife, he'll know how to pay for his kids. This made him tell me that his household financials are not my business, which is true, and that I'm ungrateful for the money he sends and selfish to ask for more. As if that money is spent on myself and not his boys. I could care less about his spending habits, but I just want him to pull the weight he promised from the beginning and stop giving false promises to the boys, then blame it on me. Am I the a-hole? Wonderful Set says, go to court and get court-ordered child support. Substantial Youth says, not the a-hole. He showed you that you can't depend on him to take care of his kids. What father would constantly lie and then blame you? He is dropping the ball and making you the fall guy. I would put my children in therapy and strengthen my relationship with them individually and collaboratively. I would not cover up for his lies anymore. Tell the boys the truth, age appropriate. I would also go the legal route and explain everything to a lawyer. You should have all of the documentation to show the lawyer that he made you move, that he promised a certain amount monthly in support, including rent, that he has not provided, that he lies to the children and blames you, causing parental alienation, and any phone interactions and in-person interactions need to be recorded. He needs to pay you monthly child support as you are the sole caretaker of both children. It also needs to be backdated. I also hope you move or consider moving to set yourself up better financially. Stop trying to do things the cute way, because you are suffering financially and your boys are suffering emotionally. He doesn't get to drop the ball because he has a new wife. His dependents take precedence. Tell your support circle what is occurring and get support. Take his behind to court. Perpetually Invisible says, not the a-hole. You stated what you believe to be obvious, but your comment was out of emotion and didn't necessarily have to be said. If anything, your ex is going to tell his current wife and just make her mad. I think you could have done better by just going through the legal process of forcing him to financially provide his portion for his children instead of taking his word. He clearly isn't a man of his word. My husband and I are raising 3 kids. My husband was married before me, and he has a son, Cole, 16 male, from his first marriage. Cole's mom died 11 years ago, and my husband and I met 9 years ago and married 7 years ago. Together, my husband and I have a daughter, Freya, 6, and Theo, 5. Cole has never really accepted me as family or the kids. He's not unkind, but disinterested in us, but especially the kids. It's not that he doesn't like kids. He's great with other kids. Cole was in therapy after his mom died, and we did family therapy together before my husband and I married. He never spoke against the marriage or us having kids, but he's not very warm towards us either. It really shows with the kids more because they really want to be closer to him. They want him to take the same interest in them as he does in other kids. They have seen him with his friends' much younger siblings, and with young cousins, and with kids in the neighborhood. My husband and I don't push too hard. I will take Cole to pick up a video game every few weeks because he loves gaming, and I ask him questions about the games he enjoys as a way of trying to bond. We always go to the arcades, the pool, and we go for walks all together. Yesterday I was taking the kids to a Halloween party, and Freya asked me why Cole doesn't like them, and I asked what she meant. She said she asked why he likes other kids more than them, and he told her that they don't have the same mom. Theo didn't really understand most of it, but Freya understood enough to be upset. She was crying, and Theo was confused more than anything. This all came up because Freya wanted to show off her costume to Cole, but he wasn't interested. Yet he does show interest in other kids' costumes. I told them sometimes, when a kid ends up with their parents no longer together, or they fight a lot, or when a kid loses their mommy or daddy young like Cole lost his mommy, it means they find it hard to let some people into their heart. That Cole lost his mommy, and it made it harder for him to feel about us the way we feel about him. Freya said her best friend has a sister who has a different dad, but she loves her. I told her it doesn't happen all of the time, and sometimes it gets better, that how Cole feels does happen at times, and all we can do is try to accept it and respect the way he feels. I also told them it was not their fault at all. My husband wasn't home at the time, But when he did, I told him what happened. His parents were also home because they wanted to see the kids all dressed up. They heard what I told my husband, and they told me I should never have said that to the kids, because I should know that Cole isn't being fully honest when he says things about not loving them, and I will make the kids think it's true when they're so little and too young to really understand the complexities, and I made it look so black and white for them. My husband told his parents they needed to leave, but they called me a bad mom before they left. Am I the a-hole? Spoonful of Rage says, not the a-hole. Thank you for trying to explain complex family dynamics to your kids in a way that respects the feelings of all involved, puts no blame on anyone, and enables your blended family to live together as best they can. Also, refreshing to read a Reddit story where the stepmom is not stomping boundaries and forcibly claiming the title of mom. I'm pretty sure Cole appreciates that in a way he cannot really express yet. In-laws need to stay in their lane. Good on your husband for backing you up. Lizzie says, not the a-hole. Your in-laws need to back off. Not sure what they wanted you to say to comfort your child in this complex situation. I think what you said was fine. It didn't lead to additional hurt feelings, and your husband is backing you, so forget the in-laws' opinions. Ditto Head Forever says, you're not the a-hole. Armchair parental critics are almost always the a-holes. Your explanation was perfect and age-appropriate. An honest answer beats the tap dancing, sidestepping, smoke up the crack answer your in-laws could have tried giving your kids.